Since I mostly have ideas, I guess I'll just do an old argument that's already been debunked like 50 million times, but The old epic gamer claimed that Hitler was somehow a socialist, and that Nazism is a form of socialism, and somehow related to Bernie Sanders and social democracy, and Scandinavia somehow. Well, let's get into a cesspool of epicness. Firstly, many people who somehow believe this simply cite the name of the Nazi Party, or the NSDAP. The Nazi Party, in German, is the National Social... Excuse my horrible pronunciation, but the National Socialistische Deutsche Arbeiterparty, which in English translates to National Socialist German Workers' Party. Keywords socialist and workers. So this obviously means the Nazis and the Third Reich were obviously socialist. As most of you, I hope, guess no. This is because the only reason they had this name was to appeal to the working class. Same with the original name of the Nazi Party, not even under Hitler, the German Workers' Party. And even if this name made sense, they changed it because they thought their policies were socialist still, it wouldn't make sense and would be impossible, since even during the early stages of the NSDAP, they were against so-called international Jewry and Bolshevikism, opposing the KPD, the Communist Party of Germany, and the SPD, Social Democratic Party of Germany. They also considered the left to be aiding international Jewry. Anyway, now that we have this part of this argument, quote unquote, debunked, let's look at some of the Third Reich's political and economic policies, along with quote unquote diplomatic policy. Jesus, I can't speak. First off, Nazis basically coined the term privatization in the mid-1930s, and socialism is staunchly against privatization, private property in general, along with the fact that the Nazis were extremely xenophobic and anti-Semitic, along with believing in Lebensraum, which was the idea that the Aryan race needed to gain living space and effectively genocide the people of Europe, due to the fact that the Nazis believed the German race slash Aryan race were superior than all other races, thus contradicting any core beliefs of socialism. Now, before I continue on about how the Nazis were treated the socialists once they took power, I'd like to address this fake quote that many people use when claiming that Hitler or the Nazis were a socialist. It was apparently a quote made by Hitler. I'm guessing most of you have heard of it, or at least know what I'm talking about, but for those who haven't, here it is. We are socialists, mortal enemies of the present capitalist economic system, with its exploitation of the economically weak, with its injustice in wages, with its immoral evaluation of individuals according to wealth and money, instead of responsibility and achievement. And we are determined under all circumstances to abolish the system. Adolf Hitler. This is a different variation of the quote that most of the time you which also goes along with the image of a Hitler, but still conveys the same lie. First off, Hitler never said this. It was actually misquoted from Gregor Strasser, the founder of Strasserism and the de facto leader of the left-wing branch of the NSDAP, which was purged by Hitler during the Night of the Long Knives. I won't go into a detailed definition of Strasserism right now, since this video is mainly about the claim that the far-right branch of the NSDAP was socialist, and claims about them, but I suggest you simply look up Strasserism for yourself if you want to see an actual definition, and see the differences. But I will link the wiki page for you guys, if you guys just want to see the differences in the description. Anyways, back on topic, the Nazis took power in 1934. They purged the more left-wing branch of the NSDAP during the Night of the Long Knives. There's a purge against any threat to Nazi power, including the SA. The SA was the paramilitary branch of the NSDAP party, which Hitler was afraid could have seized control under Ernst Röhm. In the Strasserists, the KPD was also effectively destroyed with the Reichstag fire decree, which was used as an excuse to imprison socialists, causing many socialists to go into exile, like Wilhelm Pieck, and many more who fled to the USSR. Along with that, Dachau, an infamous concentration camp, first held socialists and communists. Looking back at all of this, Nazis sure do sound like swell socialist libtards. who got trolled epic style by America. After all, communism is basically conducting a racial genocide, imprisoning and sending other socialists along with Jews to concentration camps. And Marx coined the term privatization in the Communist Manifesto, where he also said we should try to expand Lebensraum for the Aryan race. After all,